Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Pitchline Chronicles, where fans become family. I am Uncle Taz. I'm here with Donald. Rob is taking a couple of days off to handle some business. But as much as we miss him, as they say, the show goes on. And the show, what a show has been is the series with the Toronto Blue Jays, because it was almost like a tale of two teams with the Yankees. You know, 2 games we were dominant, 2 games we were embarrassed. There really was no middle ground. But I think we have to say finally goodbye, June. What a horrible month that was for this club. It just seemed like everything just completely went off the rails. Every time you thought something was starting to go into the direction of the Yankees' favor, they would face a team that would just put the brakes on them, and they just never really got anything going. But ending the month with the win is something that hopefully they'll be able to take into July.
What a difference a win makes. It just
Yes.
changes everything. Had we lost the series and we went into today's show, I think it would be a more different tone.
Mhm.
But we got the dub and we won it pretty comfortably, and we got Aaron James Judge, and the Judge is absolutely in session right now. I think that's the best way I could put it. Aaron Judge is in session, and he could end up with breaking his own AL home run record by the end of the day, because he's actually on pace to do it, man. He's actually on pace to hit 63, I think now.
Yeah, he's already halfway to 62.
He's just insane. The dude is on another level. It's the greatest power hitter I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's really impressive. I mean, the RBI. It's not like he's just hitting home runs when they're not needed. That quote unquote garbage time home run, which I think is the stupidest term in baseball, or one of. But no, what Judge is doing is absolutely it's insane. It is insane, and we're lucky to have him. Um, what makes Judge so special? We've gone over this over and over and over again. It's always a topic on social media. It's always been a topic on a lot of the podcasts in the family. He's not just your power hitter. He's just a contact guy with power. And I think that's what separates him from the other power hitters in the game. He doesn't need the long ball to contribute to a team, to a win. He can kill you with singles and doubles. And he also has legs on the base. He's a very good base runner. He'll steal bases. His defense is top. I mean, what can't this guy do?
There's nothing he can't do. There is absolutely nothing he can't do, man. He's actually, I mean, I had to look at a crazy stat the other day. I believe it was Bryce Harper's 2021 MVP, or Aaron Judge has already matched his numbers now than he did. Aaron Judge already has had a good season. Already he's had an insane season. So that's what we're talking about, man. The guy's incredible. He's absolutely a freak. Mr. Barros. Judge is a freak. He's absolutely better than Ohtani. There's no question whether he's the best power hitter in the world anymore. The only question is where he is all time. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think it's fair to just put the Judge Ohtani comparison. Because every time you mention Ohtani, they bring up Judge. Every time you bring up Judge, they bring up Ohtani. And most of it is warranted. And then you get that stupid, well, does Judge pitch? Well, no, because he's not a pitcher. Ohtani is. I think they're two different players. They bring two different aspects to the game. While you can keep them on the same pedestal, is it fair to say that comparing the two of them side by side is doing an injustice to building the game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think about Ohtani anymore, man. He's only relevant when we face the Dodgers now. I'm just not interested. I believe that Aaron Judge is light years ahead of him as a hitter, just in every way. Just look at his OPS. I just that's what I believe.
Yep.
Otani's great, but he ain't Judge.
Yep. Yeah, and also, yeah, Jared's throwing some names out. Otani who, Gunnar Henderson who. These are players that are going to be headlines in baseball for a long time. I don't want to discourage another player's talents just because we have the better one. You know what I mean?
That's true.
But because there's a lot of talent throughout the game, as it should be. We started talking about on these podcasts years ago. How the talent's been spread out, where you have fair competition, and the Yankees are facing their bit of fair competition this month. We had to get and it all started with the Dodgers, and just June was just this roller coaster of ups and downs. And as much as we're all on a high about Otani and that Cole's back, how are we feeling now with the starting rotation? That it's almost like they took their foot off the gas because they got him back, rather than just sticking to their game and keeping this rotation as one of the rotations that are a threat. Because it
Well,
doesn't
just touch on Judge
doesn't
because
feel
we've not
like they
gone through
are.
his stats yet. Let's touch on Judge before we move on to the rotation. His OPS is 1,144, 1144. OPS plus of 217. 82 RBIs, and we've only just started July. 31 home runs, 316 batting average, and that is actually triple crown worthy stuff. Slug of 700 and OPP of 436. So he's on base 43% of the time, and he's hit 31 home runs already. The RBIs that he had in all of June, that is equal to the greatest Yankee month of all time, along with Mickey Mantle and those dudes. It's legendary stuff. 80 plus RBIs before the month of July is unbelievable, and that's why he's actually benefited moving to the three hole, because he's getting more
Mhm.
RBI opportunities. But he's eclipsing the year that he had 62. That's what I'm talking about, man. He's eclipsing the year that he hit 62. So as a point of comparison, Otani's having a very good year himself, uh, but 62 RBIs as opposed to 80, and 26 home runs as opposed to 31, and uh, OPS is actually less than Judges, and OPS plus well less than Judges, Slug well less than Judges, OBP much less than Judges. So there's not a question, and a WAR much less than Judges. So there's not a question about it. Aaron Judge is the better player.
Yeah, yeah. And I think he's better by a lot of than these players by a mile, because of all the different accolades he brings. And you just mentioned all the numbers. But you're right. Before we do get into the pitching, because that's going to be that's the tail of another tape on for that.
It is.
Um, it's Lou's bringing it up now, and I think after this, I think the crowd's due for a little roll call. But Lou's bringing it up. Aaron Judge is having a great year due to Soto, and I think that Lou is onto something.
Here's something
Where
crazy, bro.
hmm?
I said, here's something crazy, bro. As I mentioned in 2021, Bryce Harper won the MVP for the season with 35 home runs and 84 RBIs. He finished the season with 84 RBIs. Uh, so Aaron Judge has already basically eclipsed Bryce Harper's MVP season of 2021. I've got the official stats right there. I knew it. I just needed to double check. That is insane, guys. That's what we're talking about here.
Yep. But Donald, let's get into the roll call with this amazing chat that we have got going on.
Hey, yo, what's happening, guys? Good morning. Good Monday morning to all of you. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Let's have a look and see who we got saying hello to us. We got 01 saying good morning. We got Ken saying good morning. We got Jonathan saying good morning. We Got NFE, got good morning to you, brother. Jared Williams, good morning to you. Got Frederico, we got Lou. We got Joan, salute to Joan. Got Dev Finch, salute to Dev. How are you doing, Dev? Got Lou, sweet Lou. We got Joe Coelho, yo yo. We got Cold Italian Pizza, and everyone else will be hopping in very very soon. Got Mark Gates. If Verdugo's batting average keeps plunging, he's not going to be worth nothing for the trade deadline. He's batting 244, and soon will be batting 200. Well, I mean, I think he's doing fine. I think the question more is about where Verdugo should be placed in the lineup. He's not going to get traded. That's insane. He's giving you Gold Glove caliber left field, and he's giving you a bit of pop. I mean, literally, would you be having this same comment if that ball went over the wall yesterday that wasn't caught over the wall? So he almost hit a home run yesterday, and he was unlucky not to. Guy just jumped over the wall and made an incredible play. So he's still got a little bit of pop. He's just going through a slump right now, but I mean, he's been healthy and he's been playing every day and to a high level. He's just not a cleanup hitter. He's someone that should be batting 6th or 7th in the order, in my opinion, and I think that's where he's best suited. So I think if you're looking at what he's giving you is perfectly fine. It's just he's just not a cleanup hitter. The Yankees need to get better talent to augment this team, and then Verdugo will be in his right place, mid bottom of the order in the 6th or 7th spot, and he'll be absolutely fine. I don't have an issue with Verdugo. I think the issue is him batting cleanup. He's just not a cleanup hitter.
No, I think it's more the depth of the lineup. They're not, there has been a handful of at bats where Verdugo does get himself out. But why would they're not going to give him anything legit to hit when there's nobody behind him hitting? What I would like to do is, I mean, we're going to get into Ben Rice in a minute on his series, but does it almost feel like if they put Ben Rice right behind Verdugo starts seeing better pitches, where he'll be able to start being a contributor again? Do you think it's just the way that, when you have Glaber behind Verdugo here and there, they're not worried about Glaber. So they're not going to, they'll be like, all right, we'll try to get Verdugo to get himself out, or we're just not going to give him anything to hit. And we'll just take our chances with a runner on base with Torres. That's where losing Giancarlo just really screwed everything up. Because I think that's where we saw the tailspin of the depth, where it just didn't look as deep as it did only a few weeks ago.
What actually really screwed the depth up was not necessarily Stanton getting hurt, it was actually Dominguez getting hurt. Because that really put the Yankees in a hole, because right now Dominguez would be up. Dominguez would probably be batting cleanup right now. Let's be honest. Had Dominguez not gotten hurt, because Dominguez was always penciled in to be the DH replacement for Stanton once Stanton went down. I think the Yankees knew Stanton was going to go down. They just didn't know that Dominguez was going to get hurt at the same time and basically miss the season. So once he went down, then it was completely reliant on Stanton to remain healthy. And unfortunately, he can't. And then that's really messed up this lineup. It really has. And I don't think anyone really knew that Stanton was going to be as good as he's been. I thought Stanton was going to have a good year. I didn't think he was going to have an all-star caliber year. And we really miss him, man. So I don't know what kind of Stanton we're going to get back, because every time Stanton comes back from injury, he's a different guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He usually struggles. So I'm a little worried about that, I have to say. We really do miss Stanton. I can't believe it's a month that he misses. I mean, it wasn't even, I think the imaging didn't show anything that severe, but they just knew it was going to be a month. Normally with guys, it's like a week or two with that kind of situation, but it's a month for him.
Yeah, the timeline with him was very weird. Because it looked like it was just going to, another one of those. If they say it's going to be a couple of days, he's going to be out for a couple of months. Yeah. If he's going to be out for a couple of months, they're out for the year. And if they say he's out for the year, he'll be back in a couple of days. That that's how you could do a deep analysis on the Yankees medical staff because they never know what the hell's going on. But the other guy that we did get back, right, keeping this on a positive spin, how LeMahieu look this series? I think he's starting to look a lot better. I mean, and we saw it in the game yesterday. He's just now he's feeling locked in. Locked in LeMahieu is what he looked like yesterday. How are we feeling with LeMahieu? Is this just a flash in the pan? Or is this something that we can see him really building into and rebuilding the confidence in the fans of him being in the lineup?
I don't think it's going to be a flash in the pan because how much worse could it possibly get? The guy went 81 at bats without an extra base hit. So I think it's more likely that he's going to be hitting a little bit better. There's no way that he's going to go another 81 at bats without getting another extra base hit. So it was good to see him contributing. There's no way he's completely forgotten how to hit.
Yeah.
He's won multiple batting titles. And the last one that he won wasn't even that long ago. Now, is he going to be the same player? No. Not even close. But there's no way that he's forgotten how to hit. So let's hope that he can just start giving you consistent at-bats. Consistently quality at-bats. And if he's going to hit in the bottom of the order, then we're not going to need much. Just give us consistent at-bats. A couple of doubles here and there. Just drive in some runs. Don't ground in a double plays. But, his glove is there. It's just getting more consistent production from him. Remember, the Yankees did say in spring that this was the best he's looked in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I really do think it was injury with him. And the fact he didn't have a spring and the fact that, they kind of rushed his rehab at first, rushed him back, he got hurt again, and that's really just affected everything. Is he going to have a good year? No. I'll tell you this now. He's not going to end up with a good year. But I don't think he's going to end up with an absolute joke, one of the worst hitters in baseball kind of year either. I think he can give you a mediocre one. If he gives you a mediocre one, I can live with it.
Yeah, I mean,
power, but just hit a couple of doubles, play good defense, and then it takes the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah, it's NFE from the Strike Zone. If you're not subscribed to the Strike Zone, jump over and do so. He's putting great content together. He has great interviews with players from the past. But he says he'll take 240 from DJ. And I think that's all we can ask. I don't think he's going to be near that 300 hitter that when we originally got him. Because you do have to take the age into account. But like you said, and I think you used the right word, we want quality at bats from DJ.
Yeah.
Because when he first came up, and like Damien's also saying, and Damien also does great work with Grace Monroe and Hector on the Morning Brew.
Awesome.
So make sure you check them out. DJ swings all series look much better. We have to remember DJ missed all spring training with his at bats, just like Judge. It was going to take some time, and I think between him and NFE, I think they're making solid points. I mean, so is everybody else in the chat. I'm not dismissing what you're saying, but no, I think that DJ's starting to come around. I think it, and it came to the conclusion that we all had was it was just a matter. It was more injury than age. Where I think Rizzo's the other way around. Rizzo, I think, is more age than injury. Just because Rizzo also started the clock on his career a little earlier. Let's keep that in mind with him too. But with DJ, I really think it was injury over age.
I think in Rizzo's case, it was the concussion. Because that split second is all the difference between being one of the worst hitters in baseball to being pretty good. And he's not seeing nothing. So I don't know if he's still. I don't think he's still concussed, but I think it's really affected him. DJ, it's just a matter of muscle injuries with him. Get that lower half sorted, and he'll be okay. Like his swing is still fine. It's just his lower half. He wasn't driving the ball and he was grounding. He was out in front a lot. Now he was still out in front a little yesterday, but at least he put them in the right spots.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're able to find, see, that's why you can't always focus on the exit velo and the launch angle. It's also where they're placing the ball, how they're, are they recognizing the alignment of the defense to punch it through the infield?
Facts.
Sometimes that's just as important as hitting it over the wall because you want to keep the line moving. How many times do we say, you see in a rally that the home run kills the rally because now there's nobody else to skirt across, to skirt through. So now you got to almost like start the rally all over again to get guys on the base. It's sometimes those bloop singles can unravel an inning on a pitcher. And we saw that all series, all 4 games. Whether it was in our favor or the Blue Jays' favor, we saw that one inning just cause a pitcher to unravel.
Let's talk about our man Rice. Rice, baby. Let's talk about our man Rice. Rice has had a really good run of quality games since being called up. He's taken us all by surprise, and he's showing that he's more than capable of handling the first base duties. So let's have everybody in the chat give us your thoughts on Ben Rice. Rice, baby. Uncle T, what are you seeing from Rice, baby?
I'm seeing a kid getting the chance to come up, making the best of it. And as much as we're excited about his bat, I think his defense is growing just along with him. I think we're looking at somebody if they give him a fair shot and just leave him at first and let him play there. Don't start screwing around and yankifying him. Right? Now, just leave him alone. Leave him at first. Leave him in the middle of the order and just let him grow.
Yeah, I was driving the ball pretty good yesterday, too. He's definitely not overmatched. Like, he's doing great. Doing great work.
Yeah, I think that having guys in the clubhouse like a Judge to look up to, guys like DJ LeMahieu, like Rizzo, that can kind of coach him along a little bit, especially LeMahieu. On the I'm going to use the technique of playing, having to know multiple positions. DJ is probably one of the better of them that can do that. Seeing guys that, like a Cabrera, where even if you're not going to use them every day, they're going to find a way to have you have an impact on the game. Unfortunately, with Cabrera, they haven't used them properly yet. I would have just left him at third, but I digress on him. Focus is now on Ben Rice. I think Rice is going to stay, even when guys start to come back. I think he's going to force their hand almost like a Volpe, where they have no choice but to start the clock. I think they're going to have no choice with Ben Rice but to start the clock and leave him here.
I like Ken's point here. I don't know why there's an assumption that left-handed hitters kind of hit left-handed pitchers. Such a good point, man. Just look at what they're doing with Grisham. Grisham actually had a higher OPS against lefties, but Aaron Boone immediately pigeonholed him as being someone that can't hit lefty pitching. And I think that's a mistake. And it's the same with Ben Rice. He's already been pigeonholed into platooning. Like, move aside from the stats. If he's hitting lefty pitching, and I've seen Ben Rice hit lefty pitching, then just leave him in it. Like, what JD Davis done that Ben Rice hasn't for JD Davis to get as many at bats as Ben Rice? I don't think it makes sense. So that's the first thing I would change. Ben Rice needs to be our everyday first baseman. There's going to be plenty of bats to go around for JD Davis. There will be, because there's still a DH spot that's open. So I'm giving Ben Rice the majority of the time. You can JD Davis can even play third. There's no reason why he can't find different at bats. But I want to give Ben Rice a fair shot at
Yeah.
getting consistent games at first base and learn how to hit lefty hitting. And he's done it, lefty pitching so far. He's done fine doing it. But give him a
Well, like,
chance. He's looked good.
yeah, call it Italian pizza. That's what I'm saying. Give Rice the job like they gave it to Volpe. Exactly. Force their hand to start the clock. That's it. I also think Jones' point is good too. Rice was hitting lefties in the minors.
Right.
Just I know they don't have the the I don't know if they're less flexible in the minor leagues to start switching things around, but they're obsessed with this righty lefty matchup.
Yeah, they are. They
Obsessed
really
with
are.
it. And I think that's also what's kind of hurting his ball club because it doesn't give anybody consistency. Look at the catching position. Neither one of these guys. One guy was a highly rated prospect that came up and just took us by storm. Trevino was a platinum glove winner, and the both of them have kind of fallen off because there's no consistency. And I think that we always say athletes are creatures of habit, but yet these guys do not get into a routine, so they have no, they just start to fall off a little bit. What's going on, D-Rod? I see you sneaking in there.
Hey, D-Rod, what is happening, my man?
I think if we start to see more consistency in the positions they're playing, the batting order, we saw it. We watched it at the beginning of the year. They were not messing with the lineups. A little tweak here and there if somebody needed a day of rest. But otherwise, the lineups were very consistent. And then they wanted to try to get cute because one guy was missing.
Here's something crazy. In platoon splits, and I'm talking about Grisham again because Aaron Boone has pigeonholed him into somebody that can't hit lefty pitching. He actually hit better against lefties than he did righties last year. Versus right-handed pitching, he had a 178 batting average. Against lefty pitching, he had a 256 batting average. His OBP was 70 points higher versus lefties than it was righties. His OPS is 792. His OPS against righties was 623. So why is he being pigeonholed into someone that can only play against righty pitching? Because we've noticed this. He's not played much. And whenever we do see him, we got Jahmai Jones playing against lefties. I just want to see what Aaron Boone is seeing. If he's a statistical guy, right, you're looking at those stats. That means that Trent Grisham's actually better against lefties. So why is he not facing up against lefties much? I just want an explanation for that.
I don't think there is one. It's the book says.
But I'm just telling you the book doesn't say because I've just read the book.
I don't know why I really don't know what they look at, why they have to keep making these changes. That's what we're saying. It's, they have to play against both. Otherwise, they're not going to freaking improve. You're not going to see the numbers creep up if they don't face that style hitter, style pitcher. It really sometimes when the Yankees do things, you're left going, are we watching the same players that they are? Because
I'm focused on Grisham because I think Grisham should be playing a lot now that there's no Stanton. This is a guy that can play. I think he's more of an everyday player, and he's shown that this series that he's got a bit of a bat on him, and he's a beautiful fielder in center field. I think that's an opportunity the Yankees should be taking advantage of. I don't need to see Jahmai Jones, even though he did fine in that last game that he played in their win, 16-5 game. He played fairly well. I don't need to see him. Grisham is a better player. Put Grisham in the bottom of the order as a center fielder, and I think that's a smarter call. I don't know why the Yankees don't seem to play him much. I mean, what does people in the chat think about Grisham? I think he's better than the Yankees are giving him credit for. Now, I'm not saying he's a world beater by any sense of imagination, but guy's got a good swing on him. Yeah, he's a great center fielder, Lou. I completely agree
Yeah.
with that. He is a great center fielder, not just a good one, a great one. And it actually allows the Yankees to be a little bit more flexible. CWA says Grisham is Hicks. That's not true, man. Grisham is much.
No, that's not fair.
That is.
That's
Aaron
definitely
Hicks
not
can
fair.
track shit down in center field. Grisham can track everything down in center field.
Yeah, you're looking at they're two different players.
At the
Yeah,
plate, even at the plate,
yeah,
Grisham's got a nice swing. And
yeah.
Grisham is not Hicks. Tread slowly. There we
Yeah,
go. A little
I
bit of
really,
conflict in the chat. I can't believe CWE said that. Come on, man. He's better than that.
I don't know.
Hicks
Was
is
you kind
long.
of you
Yeah,
saying
Hicks is dog
at the
shit.
plate? Offensively, I don't know. I'm very reluctant to put anybody in Hicks's category. Is that's the low of the low. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But no, I don't think he's that bad because I think that when you get a guy like Grisham, and we saw it when Stanton first went down, right? When he had those few games where he was playing every day, you saw the improvement in bat and at bat by at bat, the improvements that he was able to make, and
Yeah.
that he was having an impact with the bat, and he still has the defense. That's not going to go away. Um, so
I mean, we've not. Frederick's right. Frederick is right. We've not given him a fair shot.
no,
He's barely played. Just look at the amount of chances that Hicks got. I mean, it's not even fair. Grisham is a much better player. Now, I'm not saying he's going to hit for a high average. He's never been that type of guy, but he has a swing, which means that he can target that short porch in right field, and he's proven that he can hit lefty hitting. So I think he should be given more reps until Stanton's back. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's a world beater. I'm not saying that he's the answer, but I'm saying that he should be playing probably more than I want to be seeing guys like Jahmai Jones and JD Davis and all this stuff. I don't need to see these guys. I really don't. Like Ben Rice in first base, Grisham in center field, and then it opens up chances for Aaron Judge to DH to rest up because he's going to be relied on a lot for the rest of the year. He needs to be playing pretty much every day because this Yankee team is completely relying on him. So if it helps him to get more DH reps, I would do it, man. I would absolutely do it. So that's my contention.
Yep. Yeah, and Jones pulling up his numbers from his season with the Padres because he was,
Yeah,
198 hitter,
multiple gold glover.
Yeah, but here's the other factor where Grisham separates himself from Hicks. Plays every game. He played 100. I think he played 152, 161 games last year with Soto.
Crazy.
So that's a reliable person in your lineup and on the field.
Yeah, you're right. And Aaron Hicks would just take days off, just
because his feelings were hurt.
Yeah, because his feelings were hurt.
So, but no, look. It was a terrible month for the Yankees. You all know that. Let's move forward and let's get to the awards.
Donald, Hey, let's do that. But D-Rod was asking Donald, what book was it that you read? It was called The Book of Baseball Reference. Go to Trent Grisham in 2023, and you'll see his breakdown versus lefty and righty pitching. That was my book. So good old baseball reference. There you go. Now, let's get to the fun bit. Let's talk about our awards. There's a lot to talk about. This is a big series, 4 games. A lot of highs, a lot of lows.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of home runs on both sides. So let's break it down. let's go with the MVP. For me, not too much of a doubt about it. Aaron James Judge. The judge is in session. It's Aaron Judge. He was the MVP. He continues to be the MVP, and he's doing some crazy things. So he's my MVP. Uncle Tats.
It's Judge hands down. Case closed. Aaron Judge. There's nobody else comparable.
Let's ask the fans. It is unanimous. Unanimous for the judge. No doubt about it.
Nope.
Let's go to the low key MVP. We'll start with Uncle Tats.
This one, I wanted. My initial thought was Ben Rice going into yesterday's game, but I gave it to Soto for his wizardry to get into the lineup and be an immediate impact. So I really wanted to give it to Soto, because I think for a guy that wasn't really supposed to play yesterday, he did miss the one game, but I think that it's something that has to be taken into account.
Wow, that's a great point, Uncle T. Like, it's crazy because apparently when the first lineup was written out, Soto's hand was still bothering him. And then a couple of hours later, he's like, no, I'm playing. So for the effort to make sure, because you're right, Lou's right. Soto for sure. If he didn't come back, we was losing. Just him coming back completely changed the lineup, completely changed the way that the Yankees are. So that's a very good point. So we'll take that as a very good one. There's some other ones though. DJ LeMahieu, multiple hits. Gleyber Torres had a really good series, I have to say. Gleyber was a different guy. And we haven't even touched on Stroman yet for kind of digging them out, which we will break down in a minute. So I'm considering who to go with for the low-key MVP. It's actually not that easy because you could give it to Rice, you could give it to DJ, you could give it to Gleyber, you could give it to Soto. I'm going to give it to Gleyber, I think. I think Gleyber probably is going to get it for me. Just to show that there's no bias on this show, considering I'm not his biggest fan by any stretch of the imagination. But he was pretty important this series. Like, he turned things around. He had a very good series. Got a bunch of hits, and he's lengthened the lineup by just being good. And Jared Williams says was benching Torres a good sign. It was the right thing to do. Yeah. We've been calling for it for a long time. So he gets my low-key MVP. Let's ask the fans. There's a couple of good ones here. Let's see. Sunil says...
We got some Sotos in there.
Yeah. Sunil says Torres. D-Rod says Soto. Frederick says Soto. NFB says Torres. Lou says Soto. Jones says Torres. Ken says Torres. That means that the winner looks like Torres.
That's what it looks like. It looks like Torres won a few people over.
Yep, he did. By one vote, Gleyber takes the low-key MVP. Let's go with the Clutch Award. Let's start with Uncle Tats.
I actually had I have DJ in the Clutch Award. I think look, he's turning it around, and the way he closed out the series, he was a key part of the suite with the bat, and he also made a few really good defensive plays. So his game overall, he's looking more like the DJ that we've been waiting for. He's been he's gotten the shit end of the stick on the awards. So because he really did have one of his better series this year, I'm giving it to DJ.
I'm going to agree with you, Uncle T. I'm giving it to DJ. Let's ask the fans. We've got 2 votes for DJ and a couple for Soto. Another vote for DJ. Looks like DJ's going to win. Barring any other last minute votes. Oh, Regil says Soto, period. Oh, all right. Now we're tied. Let's go.
Then Spence is saying Trent Grisham on the clutch.
That's a good one too. I mean, I've liked Grisham. Sunil says Soto. Cold Italian Peaches says DJ. Lou says DJ. DJ wins. Good competitive. That's the kind of votes that we like to see. Close and fun.
I kind of like when we get those coin toss votes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Keep them coming. The pitching award. This is far more difficult. Let's ask Uncle T.
I was leaning in 2 different directions, right? Performance and attitude. And I think for the performance, I have to give it to Cole. He really showed that. He showed us his best sign that look, he's really starting to. We're going to start seeing the Cole that we've been waiting for. When it comes to attitude, yeah, he's got to share the award with freaking Stroman. Just the way that he just smacked everybody around. Look, he had every right to start getting frustrated. I know a lot of people like, oh, even Judge pulling him on the side in the dugout. We don't do that here. Bullshit. Your team's getting sloppy. You got somebody had to pull the reins in and get them to refocus on what's the task at hand. And I think Stroman, look, it's that New York attitude. You can't take that from him, no matter just because he's a professional athlete. So I actually, with the pitching, I split it to a co-award between Cole and Stroman.
Cole and Stroh. Tats, I'm in complete agreement with you in every way.
Really?
Absolutely. No doubt about it. But I'm going to give it to Cole.
This down, July 1st, 2024.
Write it down, guys, in the chat. Write it down.
Donald's agreeing with me a lot.
Moment in history. But I'm going to focus more on giving it to Cole because he probably saved a lot of things. If he didn't have a good outing, there'd be panic in the streets, right? But he had a good outing, which means that he's very close to being ready, and he gave you everything. They won. He got the win. I'm giving it to Cole, but I'm going to touch on Stroh in a minute. So he gets my award. Let's go with the fans. A lot of votes for Stroh. Regil says, can they be co-awarded? Yeah, they can in certain circumstances. I agree that Stroman woke up Torres. I have complete agreement with that. A lot of votes for Stroman. What would you say? Do you think that maybe Stroman gets the award overall?
Yeah. What's going on, Ken Siglieri? We're going to use him as the tiebreaker. And he's saying Cole.
All right. We will use him as a tiebreaker. Yep. All right. Let's go with Aaron Boone out of 10.
I gave him a 6 out of 10 for the series.
Okay.
Originally, he had a very losing grip. The way that we lost the 2 games, hurt him in with points. The way we won the 2 game, it gained him points. So I was gonna have him right in the middle as a 5, but because he had the balls and the smarts to put Soto in a lineup like 2 minutes before the game, he get an extra point, so he went from a 5 to a 6. So I gave him a 6 out of 10.
Consigliere says 5. Lou says 5. Jones says 5. So the fans are saying 5. Um, I'm kind of with you, T. There's a few things. Obviously, benching Torres gets a big plus mark for me because Torres is much better because of that benching. Um, and I like the fact that Boone didn't have a major issue with Strowman talking to Torres like that. Um, so yeah, that's okay. But again, some horrible lineups. But what choice does he have?
And he's
Um,
playing with he's using the play. You know, he can only work with the players he has.
yeah, exactly. It's a tough one. I've been very very harsh on him lately, so I'm gonna go with Tats, and I'm gonna give him 6 out of 10. I don't think that he did anything particularly egregious this time, which is kind of nice. Still, we only tied the series, but listen, you redeemed after that 16, after that massive drubbing. We had a massive drubbing. We recovered from it and finished the series off on a high. So he gets a 6 out of 10 for me. Okay, let's go with the L. There are some candidates. Let's ask Uncle T what his candidates are.
You know, it really was a flip flop series because there were players that should that could get an L that also had good moments.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided not to go with a player on the L this time. I'm giving my L to the replay system because I am still convinced that Torres and Ben Rice were both safe. And it was supposed to be, unless it was absolutely obvious that the call was missed, then the call would stand. And they just keep going on and on and on, replay after replay, angle after angle, and they still don't get it right. So I'm giving it to the replay system.
And if he says the pitcher that got DFA,
That's Bickman or something like that, Bickford.
That's right. Now Rob was really championing this guy, so that didn't work out too well for her, man. I'm gonna say Rodon was fucking horrible. I have to give it to Rodon. Rodon was cooked. Yeah, Phil Bickford. Bickford ain't gonna be much of a pitcher, it turns out.
And in contrast to me, real quick, because Spencer's texting me his answers. He goes, he's giving the L to Ben Rice for getting thrown out at third. As a rookie, you should know never to make the last out at third base. So I think it's funny
that's harsh.
That's a little harsh, but I thought because my L was the replay that overturned his safe call, because he was safe.
I think it's a little harsh on Rice considering the series that he had. They're very good series. So, and if he disagrees with Spencer there, yeah, my L is Rodon. Now, credit to Rodon for having the balls to go to Aaron Boone and saying, "Hey, this is my problem. I'm getting out of it. I created this mess. I'm getting ourselves out of it."
Yeah.
I'll give Rodon credit for that, but he still gave up 8 earned runs, so I'm not gonna give him too much of a credit. I thought he was terrible, and I'll give Aaron Boone another bit of credit for the fact that Aaron Boone came out to take him out, and then he listened to Rodon. That's a good thing too. So I think Aaron Boone actually had a fairly good series.
So I think because we brought up a couple of points that weren't brought up earlier, we might have to bump that 6 to a 7, buddy.
I'm giving him a 6.5. He's moved up a point. He's moved up a.
You're gonna have Seville going fucking crazy because
yeah. But luckily, it's my award, so I can make the rules here. He's not good enough for a 7, but a 6.5.
All right, let's split the difference.
On this one occasion, I think he's earned a 6.5 because I do like the fact that he listened to Rodon and let him pitch. That's the kind of stuff that you want to see from a manager. And if he says Boone should get a 7, he's limited with his roster. All right, well, and if he's vote will still count. It's not going to move the needle up, but Donald violated Robinho's trust here. Well, it's just
Well,
my show
like,
now. It's my
like you
show.
said, it's his awards. He could do whatever the fuck he wants.
Exactly. It's my awards.
You
So
could have made me pick Strowman or Cole, but you made the call as the owner of the awards to allow a co-winner.
Bickford got DFA'd. Let's not shit in his grave. He's gone. Be
Yeah.
happy and move on. Yeah, I am very happy. Okay, let's go with the fans. So I've gone Rodon. Tats has gone the replay booth. Let's ask the fans, who is your...
Looks like Bickford's been a big one. Actually, that's the only name I'm seeing. Rodon.
Damien's right. As a rookie, you make these mistakes. That's why you call them rookie mistakes. Spot on. What would you say, Uncle T? Who's getting the L in the pitching?
Ooh. I think the L's gonna. I'm gonna give it. I think it should go to Bickford.
Okay.
Because as much as Nestor, he wasn't completely on his game. It was when Bickford came in that everything unraveled. That game is still within reach.
Salute Yankee Kyle. Salute Jared. What did I miss? Bro, it's the awards. It's Donald's awards.
Yeah.
Sunil says Davis needs to go next in the DFA bucket. I am not a big fan of Davis, but he's a good bench player, in my opinion. Let's go with the Aaron Hicks Award for the worst of 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 the worst. Let's start with Uncle Tats.
The month of June. Glad you're gone. Sayonara. Let's move forward.
Yeah,
June Sloan, get out, leave. Don't let the dog hit you in the ass on the way out. See you next year.
Yeah, June for a lot of reasons, Uncle Ted. Yeah. Not a fan of June by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm not going to go any further on that. My Aaron Hicks Award would be the cafe bathroom that I went to. There's no men's room anymore. It's the whatever. There's a women's room in a whatever. I'm not even a man anymore.
Be careful.
That goes in the Aaron Hicks Award, but I'm not going to go any further on that. I would say I can't even think of who.
Well, you know what? I actually like Sunil's answer here.
All right. Salakata just for his existence. He's overusing Salakata though.
Yeah.
So,
Spencer has Bickford for the Hicks Award.
Bickford gets the Hicks Award. Okay. Let's see here.
Stephen B saying the replay system.
I don't actually have anyone that was bad enough to get the Hicks Award, I have to say.
Well, that's why I gave it to the month of June rather than somebody to see it. Because, it really, like I said with the L Award, there were players that they had their moments where it looked like they didn't, they never played baseball before. And then, they're playing like they're playing like a legend. So it was kind of that very lopsided 4-game set because each game was a blowout.
Yeah, you're right. I'm actually not going to put anyone in there because I don't think anyone is bad enough. I'm going to give credit to Vlad Guerrero, and I thought he had an amazing series. And I'll give credit again to some of those dudes like him. I thought Springer was amazing too. I think those two guys were great.
They played really well.
Yeah, those two guys. I don't really have an Aaron Hicks Award winner. I thought it
Joel,
was.
we'll talk to you soon, Consigliere.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Let's ask the fans. I don't really have an Aaron Hicks.
IKF kicked our ass.
You're right. Well said, Jared. Well said, Ken.
What has he got? A 13-game hitting streak going right now?
Insane.
Yeah, and you know what? I know he's with Toronto right now, but good for him. He was he never did anything wrong to us. He was a prideful Yankee. They moved on from him. He was still able to carry on a career. He's playing well. Good for him.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. No, that's my Aaron Hicks award. The fact that all those Blue Jays kicked our asses.
Ah,
IKF and Springer and Vlad, they were excellent. Absolutely
yo,
excellent.
how about the dog and Chris Barrett after taking a pitch off that forearm to still freaking keep going?
Yeah.
I
Credit to
I
him
mean,
too.
I
I
normally
liked.
don't like giving teams within the division a lot of credit. I mean, but
Yeah,
they took the fight to us this series.
that's right. And how about the guy that jumped over the wall to
Oh, with
save
the
the
flair,
home run?
right?
Yeah, to save the home run
I forgot about that.
yeah, that was off Verdugo. That was an unbelievable play. There was a lot of really good plays. That was actually a well played series. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought both sides were really good. 2 games apiece. It was very fair. So let's ask the fans. A lot of IKF talk.
No, well,
Everybody
yeah,
was
because
all over
they're
center
kind
field. He
of
was good. You're right, NFE. He was great.
IKF with a beard just hits different. What's going on, Mazza? No, I don't think there's a clear. I mean, there was no Hicks Award. There really wasn't anybody in particular.
Yeah, but
I
I
think
do
now
want to
they're
give.
just throwing out some of the. They're just naming. They're going along with us and just naming the Blue Jays that played well.
Yeah, yeah, and
Um,
that's more than fair, man. Good to see Mazza in the chat.
yeah,
Uh,
like Lou's putting in here. It was a good chat. It was a good series because we split. Um, I think the way it was so lopsided with the offense each game, like there really was the next pitcher just took the momentum right away. Um, so yeah, I think this was when you're looking back at a split. I think this is one of those series we could look back and be like, you know what, it was very entertaining um, to watch.
I agree. I was actually one of the more entertaining series and well played on both sides. I'm gonna give a final award. It's not gonna be a weekly one, just this one off. The Balls of Steel Award, and I'm giving that to Marcus Stroman because they showed a lot of balls of steel to go after Gleyber Torres, the most protected man in the earth. And listen, did Gleyber do anything wrong on that play that necessarily merited him? No, but I don't think it was that isolated incident. I really don't. I
No,
think it was a
it was a
hold up. I
snowball
think
effect.
Stroman's been sitting there watching Gleyber Torres for the last 2 months and sitting going, how is no one calling him out right now? How is he just living on a cloud, completely okay with being so nonchalant when we're trying to compete to win a division? Right? That's my thoughts, right? So do I love that Aaron Judge said to him, this is not what we do here? Not really, because
No,
I think
I
that is what we should do here. But I do like the fact that Aaron Judge talked to him. That was good. Um, but I love the fact that someone in the locker room was holding people accountable.
yeah,
I think Marcus Stroman deserves a lot of credit, and that this is why I'll be a little different from some people because there's some people in Yankee Twitter who are saying that it's one of the most egregious things they've ever seen
nope,
was Stroman making a public spectacle of Gleyber Torres, right? And then everyone's entitled to their opinion. That's what's great.
sure.
Everyone has this opportunity. My personal opinion is I don't have an issue with it. Now, did I think that Gleyber did anything wrong on turning that double play? No, but
No, there was no way
do,
to turn that.
but do I think that over the last 2 months, Gleyber Torres has been sitting on a protected cloud and no one's allowed to talk to him? Yeah, I do think that. And I think it's annoying Stroman because everyone else seems to be held accountable, but not Gleyber Torres. So I think Gleyber was just like, you know what? Show some goddamn intensity. He wanted to see some intensity. I like to see intensity, but I'm old school. I'm one of those guys. D-Rod doesn't agree with me, and that's absolutely fine. You don't show up your teammates on the field.
No,
Hey,
and I
everyone's
was like that
entitled to their
for
opinion.
and I'm so I could be as old school as it gets. But no, I look. It gets to that point where your emotions are instinctual. They're gonna come out when they come out. So I really don't. I don't think that Strowman did anything wrong. I think his outburst. Um, Hold on, D-Rod. I think it's funny when I show content. One, I've never called you an asshole ever. I've never talked to you like one, or I don't think I've ever treated you as one. I think we're very, very nice. We don't really shut anybody out. We'll disagree, sure.
Why are you
Um,
showing up content creators though? Everyone's just got an opinion. Is there particular content creators that you want to embarrass? Is that what you mean when I show up content creators? But when Strowman shows up a teammate on the field, he's wonderful. Hypocrisy. Well, I mean, I think
well,
it's
no,
like apples and oranges. I mean, one, you're just talking to somebody on YouTube.
if he would have gone
But
right
in the
into
Yankees case, we're trying to win a division, so it's a little bit more important. And it
look,
wasn't. Yeah, sorry, Tats.
no, if he would have gotten in Torres's face about it on the field, no, that's I'd be right there with D. Like you don't do that. You know, I think also you could just tell that it was just raw frustration and just look. Sometimes your emotions just they're uncontrollable. Because we saw it carry on into the dugout, and at the same time, I think that Judge was absolutely right on what he's his conversation with Strowman. Because if he would have just because it's one of those if Strowman would have just let it go and just been like whatever, I'll just keep pitching. Then we're being like, look, he doesn't even give a shit. The team fucks up and you're like, oh, okay, whatever. I mean, it's. I think the timing of it can cause people to have that difference of opinion, and that's fine. But to say that look, is it something that we want to see all the time with players arguing on the field? No. Sometimes you do have to know when to control your emotions. But we've seen so many times with Torres that he's got these mental lapses. And it was just about time that somebody kind of called him out on his shit. All right, I hear you, D-Rod. All right, we're good.
I like Reggie Grant here. You know who took it the right way? Glaber. He didn't get offended. He responded, and that's why I'm giving him credit because um, Torres took it and he played hard and he had a very good series. So it's not about beating up on Glaber Torres because listen, I gave Glaber Torres the low key MVP, which I didn't need to have to do. I thought that DJ LeMahieu had as good a series as he did, but I gave the nod to Glaber. So it's not about like hating on Glaber. It's like, but I am sick of Glaber's attitude. I absolutely am, and I wanted Aaron Boone to show him up. If anything, I wanted Aaron Boone to have publicly benched him after he didn't run hard on the eighth inning to that ground ball in the series prior. So, like, I'm more than sick of Glaber's attitude, and so was Strowman. Strowman has standards, and Strowman does rely on his infielders to make plays. Glaber,
And that is why he got
Glaber,
benched.
yeah, and listen, Glaber didn't do anything wrong in that
Nah,
particular game, but I think it was a buildup. I think he was just frustrated. The Yankees, as a whole, were playing well below their standards,
but that's also
and
why I think
yeah, and Glaber has all season been playing well below his standards, and Strowman just finally had enough because guess what? He's a New Yorker, and sometimes we have enough of BS, and I don't know why in this modern world of sports we're not allowed to say it to people or players. I don't understand that. That's something that's like totally alien to me. Bill Parcells, the excellent ex-Giant coach, always said, "You know what? If you don't like being called out publicly, play better." Right? So I'm very much on that kind of school. So I love the fact that Strowman lit into him, and guess what? It worked because Glaber had a great series. So I don't have an issue with it.
yeah. Look, I think it's also to D-Rod's point. I to go into the dugout or the clubhouse and just break something, fine. But if that would have ended the inning, then it's not even an issue. There's no outburst. Um, but it's also, it's not like, to D-Rod's point of how, it really wasn't the time or place for it, because there really was no way for Torres to turn that double play. The ball wasn't hit hard enough to turn two. If he would have dropped the ball in the transfer, we could have been like, well, would he have made the throw, and gotten out of the inning? There were variables that didn't even come into account. So as we're talking about it, I can see where D-Rod's coming from, and a lot of fans that think that Stroman was out of line.
Yeah, there's
their points of view are extremely legitimate. I was one of those for a long time. Now I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you just lose your shit. That's it. Sometimes you just lose your it's not like it's if this turns into a continual issue with Stroman kind of yelling, on the field about plays, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
Well,
but everyone's different. And that's it. So that's cool. Like I welcome different opinions and all that stuff. So as just my personal opinion is, I think Stroman was cool for that. But there's other teams that have different ways of handling things. There's a lot of teams that don't have standards. I like the fact that Stroman has standards. It reminds me of when I went to a Pirates game with some friends in Pittsburgh, and they're Pittsburgh are wonderful people. They're very kind and they're very like family oriented, and they're all very friendly, and they don't have the highest standards for their Pirates. So one of their Pirates guys got completely and utterly shelled on the mound. He gave up like 8 runs or some shit, right? And no one was booing him, so I booed him. I booed him off the freaking field, right? I was like, "Boo! You suck!" Right? And then somebody nudged me beside me, going, "Oh, you don't do that. I know his mom. His mom owns a bakery. She's lovely." So it's like, here we go. That's the difference between New Yorkers and Pittsburghians, right? There it is. Like, they're just friendly people, and yeah. But what we have our standards. Like, if I see someone sucking on the mound, I'll say it. But that's
what we do. We call it as we see it.
Yeah, call it as we see it. Maybe necessarily the most popular, but hey, it is what it is. But that's the way I see it. But I like the fact that Stroman did it, and I like that Stroman has some standards, because listen, this is a competition.
Yep.
I like Stroman too, Jared. I like him too. I like him even more after that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like I said, as long as it doesn't become a habit now, with him, then I'm fine with it. We've all been trashing, and getting on players for their play. Their own teammates are allowed to do the same thing. Do we like to see it on the mound? Like I said, no. But I just think it was an instinctual reaction, because he really made a good pitch to keep it on, get the ground ball. Just they weren't going to turn the double play. And he sees strong. He doesn't know what transpired behind him. I don't know, but that is going to wrap things up for us today. We do hope everybody enjoyed their weekend, and hope everybody enjoyed the show. We enjoyed having you. And just remember, if you do want to join the chat and hang out and bullshit with everybody during the show, it's very simple. All you got to do is hit that sub button and join the chat. Also, you can hit that like button, share this out with your friends, your family. The street is on the corner. Have a good day, NFE. So we appreciate everybody that came and spent their Monday morning with us. This is where fans become family. As I always like to say, with those pinch points of pride and play hard.
Hit that sub button for us, people.